What if I told you that Patty Duke, the young actress who won an Academy Award for her unforgettable performance as Helen Keller in The Miracle Worker, went on to live a life far more dramatic, heartbreaking, and inspiring than anything she ever portrayed on screen? To millions, she was the bright, talented star who embodied resilience and brilliance, but behind the fame was a woman who endured incredible struggles, fought private battles, and ultimately transformed her pain into a legacy of courage and advocacy. Patty Duke's story after The Miracle Worker is one of Hollywood's most extraordinary journeys, and it's one you'll never forget. At just 16 years old, Patty Duke became the youngest person at the time to win an Oscar. Her portrayal of Helen Keller opposite Anne Bancroft was raw, emotional, and groundbreaking, catapulting her to stardom. But while the world celebrated her as a prodigy, her private life was unraveling. Controlled by abusive managers known as the Rosses, Duke was manipulated, overworked, and deprived of her childhood. Fame had come quickly, but at a devastating cost. Even after breaking free from their control, the trauma of those years left scars that would haunt her well into adulthood. After The Miracle Worker, Duke transitioned into television and film, starring in The Patty Duke Show, where she famously played identical cousins. The series made her a household name and America's sweetheart, but behind the scenes, Duke was struggling with mental health issues that at the time were poorly understood. She endured severe mood swings, depression, and episodes of mania that she couldn't explain. Hollywood, of course, only added pressure, demanding perfection while offering little support. Her personal life was equally turbulent. Duke entered into a series of marriages and high-profile relationships, some of which were marred by instability and heartbreak. Rumors swirled around her personal choices, and she faced intense scrutiny from tabloids that painted her as erratic. In truth, Patty Duke was suffering from undiagnosed bipolar disorder, a condition that would not be formally recognized until years later. For much of her early adulthood, she lived in silence, battling demons that few understood. But Patty Duke's story was not just one of struggle, it was also one of resilience. In the 1980s, she was finally diagnosed with bipolar disorder, a turning point that changed her life. Instead of hiding, Duke chose to speak openly about her condition at a time when mental illness carried heavy stigma. She wrote an autobiography, Call Me Anna, in which she bravely revealed her experiences, both the triumphs and the traumas. By sharing her story, she became a powerful advocate for mental health awareness, giving hope to millions who felt alone in their struggles. In her later years, Duke continued to act, taking on roles in television movies and guest appearances that reminded audiences of her incredible talent. Yet her most enduring legacy became her advocacy. She used her platform to push for better understanding and treatment of mental illness, becoming a voice of compassion, honesty, and strength. Her willingness to shed light on her struggles made her not just a star, but a survivor whose courage changed lives. Patty Duke passed away in 2016 at the age of 69, leaving behind a legacy that transcended Hollywood. She was remembered not only as the young girl who moved audiences in The Miracle Worker, but as a woman who lived with honesty, vulnerability, and determination. Her journey reminds us that even the brightest stars can carry hidden pain, but they can also transform that pain into something that inspires generations. In the end, what really happened to Patty Duke after The Miracle Worker was far from a fairy tale, but it was a story of resilience, transformation, and courage. She was more than an actress. She was a fighter, an advocate, and a symbol of hope for all who have faced their own private battles. Her life proves that true strength lies not in perfection, but in the willingness to keep going, no matter the obstacles.